Hello, welcome again, dear students. This is the third video related to the short story, The Eyes Have It. In the previous two videos, you got the introduction and then the explanation of the first part of the story. In this video, I am going to deal with the rest of the part of the story. In the last video, the last line was, "You are a very gallant young man," she said. The girl said, "But why are you so serious?" Gallant means brave. The girl passenger commented about the narrator that he was a very brave, daring young man, but why he was so serious. Then the narrator thought, he writes here, "I would try to laugh for her, but the thought of laughter only made me feel troubled and lonely." Boys, you need to pay attention to the mentality of the narrator. The narrator was a blind person. He was very conscious of his blindness, and more than this, he was conscious of hiding his blindness. So, whenever he thought of laughing, thought of becoming something light-hearted, but the more he thought of this, the more he became serious, the more he felt troubled and lonely. This is something mentality. Then the narrator said, "We will soon be at your station." The girl commented, "Thank God, it's a short journey. I can't bear to sit in a train for more than 2 or 3 hours. This is about the girl passenger. She says that she doesn't like to sit in a train for more than 2 or 3 hours. She is thankful that it's a short journey. And now, come to the next paragraph. Here, the narrator. "Yet I was prepared to sit there for almost any length of time just to listen to her talking." Here, this is about the narrator. The narrator was quite attracted towards the girl, so he says that he was prepared to sit there for almost a long time, just to listen to the girl talking. Her voice had the sparkle of a mountain stream. Here the narrator comments like a romantic person. He says that the voice of the girl had the sparkle of a mountain stream. It means that it was a very beautiful, attractive voice. As soon as she left the train, she would forget our brief encounter. When the girl left the train, the girl would forget their brief meeting, their brief conversation. But the narrator says that it would stay with me for the rest of the journey and for some time after. So the narrator is quite serious about this, and he says that he would remember this brief meeting with the girl for a long, long time. Then in the next paragraph, the engine's whistle shrieked, the carriage wheels changed their sound and rhythm. The girl got up and began to collect her things. Boys, it means that the train was about to reach the girl's station. I wondered if she wore her hair in bun. Boys, here in the coming line, the narrator is talking about the hairstyle of the girl. What would be the hairstyle of the girl? He just thinks, he just imagines. And there are different kinds of hairstyle here mentioned. Hair in bun, plaited, hanging loose, or cut short. These are the different types of hairstyles. And now the narrator wondered if the girl's hair was in bun, or it was plaited, or it was hanging loose over her shoulders, or was it cut very short. The narrator only thinks about it. He cannot see, but now he thinks about the hairstyle of the girl. The train drew slowly into the station. The train slowly came to the station. Outside, there was the shouting of porters and vendors and a high-pitched female voice. High-pitched female voice. A female voice, a loud female voice, near the carriage door. The voice must have belonged to the girl's aunt. We know that in the very beginning, the girl said that her aunt would receive her at the station. So, when the train came to the station, the girl's station, Saharanpur, there was the sound of shoutings of porters and vendors, and even a very loud voice of the girl's aunt. Goodbye, the girl said. The girl bade goodbye to the narrator. She, the girl, was standing very close to me, so close that the perfume from her hair was tantalizing. Dear students, the word tantalizing means making you feel a desire to have or to do something. It means to force you to do something. उकसाने वाला, कुछ करने के लिए प्रेरित करने वाला. Tantalizing. And what was tantalizing? The perfume from her hair. The perfume from the girl's hair was tantalizing for the narrator. I wanted to raise my hand. The narrator wanted to raise his hand and touch the hair of the girl, but in the meantime, the girl moved away. Only the scent of perfume still lingered where she had stood. The girl's hair had the scent of perfume. The girl moved away, but the scent of perfume was still there in the air, and the narrator felt it. So the train stopped at the station, and the girl was about to get down from the compartment. So the situation here is, there was some confusion in the doorway. Near the doorway, there was some confusion. Someone was getting down, someone was trying to get into the compartment. It is like confusion, a like of commotion. A man getting into the compartment stammered an apology. Stammered. Tutlana, haklana. Stammered, haklana. Was not able to speak properly. He was trying to get into the compartment, but due to the confusion, he stammered an apology. Oh, sorry, something like that. Then the door banged. Banged is onomatopoeic word. Onomatopoeic word means sound representing or sound producing word. Then the door banged. Then the door shut. And the world was shut out again. The world was shut out again for the narrator. I returned to my berth. The narrator returned to his berth. The guard blew his whistle, and we moved off. We, the narrator, the train, and a new passenger. We moved off. We left the station, and the train started. Boys, once again, The narrator says, look at this. Once again, I had a game to play and a new fellow traveler. This is very important line, important sentence. I had a game to play. The narrator had a game to play and a new fellow traveler. A new passenger had got into the compartment and the narrator was again prepared to play a game. What was the game, boys? What was the game? It was a guessing game. You will come to it later on. I shall emphasize, I shall make an insistence on it. What was the game for the narrator? The train gathered speed and the wheels took up their song and the carriage groaned and shook. I found the window and sat in front of it, staring into the daylight that was darkness for me. The train started, the train gained speed, the wheels changed their sound and took up their song. The carriage groaned. It is the fast-moving train. The narrator is describing the fast-moving train. Then the narrator found the window. He sat in front of it and he again pretended that he was looking outside the window. So many things were happening outside the window. Naturally, obviously, so many things were happening outside the window. It could be a fascinating game. Again, boys, it could be a fascinating game. Earlier, I told you about a line, very important line. I had a game to play and a new fellow traveler. And here is the sentence. It could be a fascinating game. The game is the same, but here the word fascinating has been added to the game. And what was the game? Here is the line. Guessing what went on out there. This was the game for the narrator. To guess what went on, what was happening outside the window. And this kind of game he played with his fellow passenger. The narrator played with his fellow passenger. The man, here is the man, the new passenger. The new passenger, the second co-passenger of the narrator, who had entered the compartment, broke into my reverie. Reverie, here is the word reverie. Reverie means daydream, diva swapna. Reverie. The narrator was in the habit of living in his reverie, living in daydreaming. He always dreamed. Whether even when he was not sleeping. So he was in his reverie. What was the reverie of the narrator? Thinking of the fascinating game. And the game was about to guess what was happening outside the train, outside the window of the train. The narrator was thinking these things. He was in his thought, he was lost in his thought of these things when it was broken. It was broken by the new passenger. And he commented, "You must be disappointed. I am not nearly as attractive a traveling companion as the one who just left." Here, the new passenger means to say that the narrator must be disappointed because he was not as attractive a traveling companion as the girl who had just left. Then the narrator said, she was an interesting girl. She, the girl, was interesting. And now the narrator asks the new passenger, "Can you tell me, Did she keep her hair long or short? The narrator asks the new passenger and asks about the hairstyle of the girl. This is the referee boy. He was still thinking about the girl's hairstyle. And the new passenger who came to the compartment, he might have seen the girl, he might have seen the hairstyle of the girl. So he asks this question to the new passenger. And what is the reply? What is the response of the new passenger? I don't remember, he said, sounding puzzled. It was the puzzling answer. He was puzzled. I don't remember. It was her eyes I noticed, not her hair. The new passenger says that I cannot remember her hairstyle. I noticed her eyes, not her hair. She had beautiful eyes. Her eyes were so beautiful that I was able to see only the eyes of the girl, not her hair. But now, boys, we are coming to the conclusion of the story. And wait, this is what I told you earlier, that this is the twist at the end of the story. The girl had beautiful eyes, but they were of no use to her. The girl had beautiful eyes, but those eyes were useless to her because she was completely blind. Because the girl was completely blind. Didn't you notice? Here, the story comes to an end. And after completing the story, the suspense is over, and you know that the girl passenger with whom the narrator talked so much, that girl was also blind. This is why at some of the places some of the strange sentences are there. When I drew your attention towards a sentence, then I made a mistake. The narrator made a mistake by asking a wrong question. But the girl passenger didn't find anything strange in the question. It was quite natural and obvious for the girl because she was herself blind. And before that, when the narrator asked, "Are you going all the way to Dehra?" the narrator's voice startled the girl. Why was the girl startled? The girl had entered the compartment and only the narrator was there. And if the narrator had asked something, it was quite natural. But as the girl was blind, she couldn't see the narrator sitting there. So, when the narrator asked the girl if she was going all the way to Dehra, this question and the voice of the narrator startled the girl. So, at some of the places, the story writer, the narrator, gives us some hints. The author helps us to anticipate the ironical twist in the end during the course of the narrative. So these are some of the hints given to us. And this story is a comment. This story is a comment on seeing, the ability of seeing. This is why the title of the story is "The Eyes Have It." This video comes to an end here, and in the next video, in the next two videos, probably I would give you the question answers of this story and textual grammar, the grammar from this chapter. Thank you.